We're getting back in that 250X today. I figured out the tapping. I look forward to fixing that. But first, I've allowed my shop to become a mess. We've all been there where we have too much stuff and not enough room. I do not have a big shop. I do keep a lot of stuff in this trailer, and me and my boy went quadding, and that's what I have to put back in the trailer. I do look forward to one day making this a project and doing the interior and really kind of setting that up for future plans of quadding. Stick with me, let me clean up the shop, and then we'll get started. All right, so I figured out why we have an extra tap going on here. Hondas are pretty known for having their little bit of a tick, but this bike right now definitely is having some extra tick. Definitely confident I figured it out. I'm gonna show you so you can actually hear it tick, and then we're gonna fix it. Okay, so we have the ratchet on the crank bolt. I removed the spark plug, make it a little easier to spin over. I removed the valve cover, and it's on the intake side of the cam, as if it seems like it's got a bad lobe. So if you listen closely, you can hear it. That's the ratchet. So I'm spinning it until we get to the intake side of the cam, or the stroke. All right, so the valves are going down nice and slow. So here's the ratchet again. The next thing you'll hear is that tick. So if you heard it, it went knock, and then you heard the ratchet again. I'll do it one more time, and I'll try and go a little bit quicker. So it seems like there's a little bit one on the exhaust side too. So, all right, valves are opening. Here it comes. But if you can actually see right there behind the rocker, there's a little bit of a groove right there. Like I said, it's difficult to show, but that little knock in there, you know, when you have RPMs happening, it's gonna sound like a loud tap. So now our plan of action. We're going to get these cables up out of our way, take this breather tube off. Over here we have the decompression cable, we're gonna remove that. Go down here, you can see right down there is the cam chain tensioner. Remove that. I'm probably gonna move the exhaust, get the exhaust off, so then it's easier to get to that, and just a little more room to work. Then we will take off every one of these little bolts, take the head off, and then we'll be able to see the cam. We'll be able to inspect the rockers, make sure they're not damaged, and just really be able to see everything. Then we will remove the cam and go from there. So the chain is loose, and I could just slide out the groove. Now you just gotta be careful you don't drop it. I mean, once I remove the cam, I'll zip tie it up so this way it doesn't fall down, because then we gotta take apart the engine to get it out. But what I see right here, so I'm gonna slide the cam out. Remember, don't lose the chain. So chain's around the finger. Get a zip tie. There you go. Now the cam chain's not going anywhere. But what I just noticed, right before I pulled the chain off, so you have these two bolts that hold on the cam chain gear. Well, look. They are hand loose. They're not even tightened. That could have been a serious problem. Serious problem, both of them. Not even tight, so they're coming loose, which eventually they would back off. And, you know, just think about what could happen. Yeah, boy. Over here on the workbench, this is where we'll kind of compare everything and see what, and really inspect, see what's going on. So, start things off. I still have to remove this oil line. It was pretty difficult with where the frame is to get this bolt without stripping it. So we're gonna take that off. If you noticed, I took a marker, I put a little line on the head here, and then the first bolt I removed, I put another line. Now that's my little trick for me to remember which order I went. So what I did was I started here, I went on the outside all the way around, and then I went to the inside. So if you look here at my bolts, this is the order. Start it, works me around the outside, and those were the three on the inside. So now why would I do that? Well, if you see some of the length differences, if you can see how long that one is, length of my hand there, and then one that's half my pinky. So it just makes it a little bit easier than the trial and error and seeing which one fits where. The most cringe thing of removing this is breaking these loose. These are just aluminum bolts inside of aluminum, and it's such a cringe when you're just waiting for it to break loose and hope it's not breaking in half. Been there, done that, absolutely sucks. Now, taking a look at this head, I did notice on the rockers, it's a pretty good view right there. You can see where they're grooved. So the rockers have a heavy groove in them too. You see how the light kind of hits it? Our cam, a little bit of a closer look at it. And the way this cam, the way these lobes should look is the way the bearings look. So where the rocker makes contact, it should look like that. But you can see how uneven it is, especially on the exhaust. So this is the exhaust lobe, that's the intake lobe. Oh, nope, sorry, vice versa. Exhaust lobe, intake lobe. I lost my orientation there. And then if you look real close, man, it's very difficult to show you. You can see right here where my finger is touching, right here. See how worn this is? It's just a stock cam. And you can see this like ledge, ski jump, right there. So the cam is pretty worn. I think the rockers have the heavier groove, and that may have been actually causing more of the tap when it would hit the cam. Now to look at a new one. So I did order new rockers just in case. I knew the cam was pretty beat up, but I wanted to order some new rockers. So fresh cam, fresh rockers. Now this is just the stock cam. You know, I could have gone with a hot cam or something like that, but it's just a 250X. I mean, trying to get a little bit more out of it, you know, ultimately, is it worth the money? To me, no. Just go out and have some fun for what it is. And plus, it'll stay reliable. I've had heavily modded machines and vehicles, and I'll tell you what, reliability gets less and less every time you make big changes. So here's the lobes. Now this is untouched. There's nothing, nothing that rubbed really the coating off, but ultimately what we can look at is there's no ski jump. There's no ski jump, so it's nice and smooth. Cam bearings all look good. Spin nice. It looks really well with that. And the rocker. Now this, you can really see the difference. So you can see, if you just kind of watch the lighting, just nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. Compared, when I take these out, I'll show them again. You can just see how rough it is. And you can feel a little bit, you can feel actually a little hump in them. So I think these were really causing our loud tap. You know, because they're just snapping off of the cam, basically smacking the cam. But now let's replace it. So we're going to start with the cam. What I like to do is just get them in the same orientation. So we have our intake valves both facing that direction. Then I'll remove this, remove the cam gear. Still can't believe that these were hand tightened. The bearing out of the way. So now cam is facing, if you really want it perfect, cam's facing both the same direction. You can see it says out, facing out, and we want that to face out. I'm going to put this gear back on. Now this we could probably sell on eBay. We'll call it like a detuned custom cam. I think that'd be pretty good. Maybe $3,000 custom. Now let's tighten them before we forget. Cam's done, ready to go back in. Now we gotta do these rockers. These are a pain in the ass, not gonna lie. We gotta put a little notch a little groove in these dowels. These dowel pins right here, we got to notch a little groove in them with a grinder. Hit them out with a screwdriver. This says it all right in the manual right there too. Hit it out with a screwdriver. Then work these out and the rocker will come out. Easily said, difficultly done. I'm going to try something a little different than what the book is calling for. I'm going to heat up this cast aluminum right about here and see if I can just pull this pin out. I really don't want to cut it and then have a potential, the tip break off, somehow end up in the engine, and then we get that catastrophic failure. So I'm going to try that, see how it works. So what I got here is just, you know, your MAP propane. MAP gas, whatever. Pins out. So now I have to get this pin to slide out. I already started breaking it loose. I'll show you on the next one. But the way you get that to start popping out, there's a little hole on this side. I just took a little screwdriver, put it in there, tapped it with a soft hammer, and then it started coming out. Now you're trying your best not to damage anything, mar anything where it won't be able to go back into place. So you just got to be careful. Take your time. If anything's really hung up, just try and figure it out. I mean, I seriously just spent about 5 minutes really trying to figure out the best way to slide that out because it really seemed pretty stuck. But there it is. There's our rocker arm shaft. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. Slide out a rocker arm here. And man, it's in bad shape. Really, I think these were too tight. I think these were just too tight. All right, let's get the other one. Odd that I basically unscrewed it, but there are no threads on it. It just looked like it. That's just how it was acting. But got it out, number 2. I'll show here's the pin. So I like to kind of get that to break loose. So I know it's moving around okay. See if it'll smack out now. Just really wanted to show these one last time. So you can see right there, you can see how that's been just a strong metal on metal. And if I tilt it, I mean, look at that, man. This is honestly supposed to have a little bit of a hump to it. It's gone. Gone. Here's the other one. I mean, it's just gone. It's incredible. I haven't seen rockers this worn ever. Definitely high mileage parts here. And here's the cam. If I can flip it. So you can really see how that, I mean, they've just been grinding each other away, slowly but surely. I'm surprised I didn't see that much metal coming out of the oil. There's the other lobe. Same thing. Just them valves properly.